guest tonight is Marcus Lyon, who's our host. Would you like to come and join us, Marcus? So, Marcus, artist, photographer, producer of Human Atlases, your most recent one being Atla. You also recently did an epic cycle across America, which we're going to hear about, hopefully. Can you tell us, first of all, about this space, the wonderful Glassworks Studio?
Okay, so the Glassworks was Kennington's original Glassworks, and then it became a meeting hall where lots of mischief was made back in the 50s and 60s. After that, it was turned into a storage for the gin factory across the road, and this room was full of citrus zest and juniper berries. And then it sat dormant for a bit, and I came in, and for the last 35 years we've been creating art in here, collaborating with other artists and creating fabulous projects that hopefully change the way we look at the world.
Gorgeous.
Aww. Can you tell us about your human atlases and the books that you make?
So my life had always been this balance between social change and commercial art. And in my late 40s, I decided to try and bring those two streams of my life together to make a little bit of some waves around telling stories about people who are creating a more hopeful future and trying to help both the planet and our diminishing democracies. So I built my first atlas in Brazil, and it was 100 remarkable change agents, visualized and storytold about through portraits, ancestral DNA and oral histories. So bringing three pillars of identity together to give a deeper sense of who we are and what we can be.
Oh, and presumably how linked we are as well. I always remember one of the best shows I saw about, like, you know, you get some like hardened racist and then they do their DNA and they're like, you're a Jewish Arab with a black grandmother. And they're like, people don't really know actually that much beyond a couple of generations. So it's quite a sort of binding way to kind of realise we're all quite similar, really.
The beauty of the DNA is really it shows that we're all brothers and sisters and that we're interconnected. I believe it's true to say that anyone with European ancestry has a common ancestor no more than 500 years ago. So we're all from the same place. We're all humans, and we've all got to, I think, treasure that more. You know, instead of seeing the other, you know, look for the brother and the sister.
Yay!
It's a good job we found each other, Marcus. You're doing the same work. So can you tell me about this epic cycle ride? Because we were talking earlier, and obviously it was far, but it was also like a big life moment for you in some ways. Well,
yeah, I just turned 60. I just finished my last big 4-year Atlas project with the Getty Museum in LA. I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit. You know, I'd actually had quite a lot of success in my life reinventing every kind of 10 years, and the 10 years was up. And my great friend Dwan Dandridge, who runs an incredible organisation in Detroit called Black Leaders of Detroit. I've been on his ally council since he founded the organisation, supporting black entrepreneurs to build new communities and new neighbourhoods. And Dwan said, I'm going to do a ride for unity, and I'm going to ride from Black Wall Street, the site of the Black Wall Street massacre in Tulsa, and I'm going to ride with anyone who wants to come with me, and I'm going to ride all the way to White Wall Street, which, let's face it, was built on slave money. So I was the only white guy invited, and there were a group of us who went all the way. It's about 1,750 miles. It was a beautiful experience. It's tough at times. It was kind of all physical for the first 10 days, and then it was all mental for the next 20. Taught me to be, I don't know, riding in the shadow of a great black leader was an incredibly humbling experience, because I got to witness on a daily basis how you show up as a black man in contemporary America. We rode through Trump's heartland, and his ability to diffuse, to be humble, to be present, to be powerful in all the spaces we were was just mind-blowing. And yeah, one of the best things I ever did. Yeah.
Wow. And how long did it take?
It was a 30-day ride with 4 rest days and 26 riding days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for housing us in your beautiful studio and for offering us all these special goodie bags.
Thank you very much.
Next on the sofa is a dear friend of the show who we've already spoken about, but not in real life until now. Love Ssega is an artist and a musician, campaigner, and also now a children's book author. And over the last few months, he has been campaigning to democratise the BBC. And brilliantly, he's applied to be the job of Director General. I think he may have just been put to the post, but we'll talk about that. Welcome, Ssega. How could the Director General of the BBC be a better neighbour on a national and local scale?
Well, one thing which is interesting, by the time this goes out, it would have been announced. So yesterday I was at the Sir Lenny Henry Centre for Media Diversity at the Birmingham City University, speaking to a bunch of students, and the name of the panel was "Does the BBC Matter?" And just before starting that panel in the live stream, they announced that this Director General had been appointed. Then at the end of it, I was asked, what would I say to the Director General? And I said, I'd like him, because it is a white man, I'd like him to actually come and talk to all of you. So this is one of the things where if you're going to be head of a broadcasting operation, and
Public broadcasting,
and the public haven't seen you, then that's a bit of an error, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I'd never really thought about the way that the Director General gets chosen until I found out that you'd put in an application for it. And when you told me, you told some other people at the same time, you were like, we're artists, we should do things that, you know, make a noise, that raise people's attention to things, we can do whatever we like. So of course, applying for that is like an embodied sort of artwork almost in its own right, as for you doing it. But like also, I didn't know anything about like how they choose the person, and then really it's quite opaque, isn't it? I mean, it's
How is it done?
Well, first off, it was just such a short lead-in time where it was just a month and the deadline was the 31st of December, which is a really odd deadline. And it was just...
You can work on your application over Christmas. It's
Right.
convenient.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a 2-page cover letter and a CV. I mean, I think even McDonald's asked for more than that. So as soon as that happened, it seemed a bit murky. It looked like, okay, this is going to be a stitch-up. And I was speaking to my Icelandic friend, and over there for their big public service broadcaster, everyone going for it has to stand up in public and then put their prospectus out there. And I just thought, why don't we do that? Why doesn't that happen? Why isn't it a source of pride to say that the person who's going to lead us, the BBC, they say themselves, they say this is, it reflects the country and how we're portrayed internationally. So surely we'd want to know the person who's choosing the editorial decisions to show how we're portrayed internationally, and just be like, oh yeah, this is a good person. So I thought maybe it would be a bit more interesting, the whole application process. But it was very murky. Did you get an interview? I didn't get an interview, but I got a conversation of my application going in, and that was enough. And interestingly enough, a number of people all came out from different parts of my life saying, some people who worked on stuff for the UN in New York and stuff, they're like, oh my goodness, how can we support you? And then it became really, really interesting. And even when the news got announced yesterday, some people saw it first from my social media comment on it. They were like, oh my God, now let's run to the BBC. But it was just really fascinating, all the different people coming and taking an interest. And I think that's what it should be. We're fed up of just people being placed somewhere and then being disappointed and us not being brought in on the journey, really.
It's so true, because like you're saying, Claire, like you don't really think about it. Someone just appears, some bloke, and you're like, okay, that's the guy who runs this. Yeah, it should almost like have an election.
Have you ever seen that film about how they choose a new pope?
Oh,
that's what I thought it'd be like. And then there's some smoke comes out of like Broadcasting House, and they're like, we've chosen, it's taken us 5 days, no one's been to sleep.
But this
is the person, and it's someone.
Because that's the thing, it's like, look, it's meant to be a big broadcast. Think of all the stuff that has come out of the BBC. I think even going back to Ken Loach, where you're talking about real big social issues, or other comedies and drama. How can we not even, you take the DG process and then make that fun? The Catholic Church, even if you're not Catholic, you got to respect the Gams. You look at everything, you look how they got the big crowd, they've got everything there. The broadcasting house, it's got, I think about maybe 30 studios. It's like, why aren't these studios getting to work? Why can't we do more with the BBC that's there? And really, whoever was running for it, why can't they just come out and have a bit of passion and say, this is what I believe, this is what we want to do going forward? And it's just like, nah, it's just a
Do you think it should have a vote?
Yeah, why not? We vote for Strictly, we vote for all these other stupid things. You know, it's like, come on, it's like, give us a vote.
Make it more like Strictly.
Yeah.
They could just choose it on a dance-off.
Yeah.
That is true. And they've got a whole costume department, so they really should have
I
that
used to
going.
work in the costume department for Strictly, just saying.
You
Briefly,
did?
very briefly.
Should have been on my campaign.
I altered Ed Bull's suit.
Oh.
True story.
Enough about all that BBC nonsense. You've also written a children's book.
Oh,
And
yes.
a child just ran in. So
I should have
desperate
brought
to
one.
read. So desperate.
I should have
Oh,
brought
there
one.
is hope. There is hope for the youth. Tell us about it.
Oh yeah, it's called The Elementals Wanzu Set Sail, and it's about 5 friends who are linked to the elements: air, water, fire and earth. And all of them, Wanzu is a Uganda name. I'm from Uganda, it's a Luganda name specifically. And then Jaja is the name for grandma, is in there. And they're all the different friends. And one of the things is, especially in this day and age, and I think it's quite topical, where people are saying, oh, AI is the future, tech is the future, and all of this on one side of it. But really the marvel of nature and our connectivity to nature, that's why each one of the characters has a link to fire or water, but they all have to work together. And I think that's the magic. If by writing a book, you can then take it to into schools, and there's music and song in there as well, being a musician, and then they can have those conversations to say there is magic in real nature out there, and you can put stuff about albatrosses, coral reefs, all these other different things. So it's been really special to do that and see the reaction.
Where can people get it?
Oh, it's everywhere. The good.
Do you have one?
I'm an artist, not marketing. Maybe that's why I didn't get the
Can you do
DG
like
role.
performance art piece that surmises the storyline in a 3-second dance piece?
We'll put it up on the screen
We'll put
digitally
it up on the
afterwards.
screen later.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Great. And you're going to dip in and out of the show for the next hour. So maybe we'll ask you later what the BBC would do when we set Marcus's studio on fire, which is usually what we do at some point during recording.
We shouldn't be preempting things that do accidentally normally happen.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
We got stuff.
we're supposed to do that.
What we got? We got.
Local identities are what makes where we live so special, and that includes London. So when our next guest heard that some academic said his identity was dying out, he created a festival to prove that it wasn't. Which identity is that? Well, a little hint here from the one and only comedian, Jeff Innocent.
Your image has a different meaning depending on where you are, depending on which town you're in. Let me illustrate. You know, if you saw me walking around in East London, you might think there's a geezer you don't fuck with, right? But if you saw me walking around in Brighton, I know, what a transformation before your very eyes. It's a very similar look, bit of a different meaning, and not a lot of people can carry off this gay fascist combination look, you know. It takes years, I don't just throw this shit together.
Right.
So, welcome to the sofa, Andy Green, Modern Cockney Festival. Can you tell us a bit about your festival?
Yes, certainly. So we saw a news story about Cockney dying on the streets of London, and I'm a bit stupid. If I see something wrong, I've got to do something about it. There's a webinar with the sociolinguists saying about their theory of Cockney dying, And at the webinar was my dear friend Saif Osmani, who we chatted, we conversed, and the idea of the Modern Cockney Festival emerged. We have a month-long a space just to explore, and you name it, we do it. We have family fun days, sociology, politics, the whole exhibition shows, a lot, and it just really provides a space where you've got permission to say, explore who you are. We had a Pearly queen said, look, no one's ever given me permission to look at myself and celebrate who I am.
Oh, why do you think there's so many misconceptions about like Cockney heritage?
Well, it's not just Cockney, it's Scouse, Ouija, Geordie and that. And working class cultures over the last 50 years have been marginalised. There's no sort of cultural institutions to defend them, and so the story gets told by other people and stigmatised or negatively stereotyped or ignored or even airbrushed, as in the case of Cockney, out of existence. So, as I say, so we don't want a Royal Institute of Cockney, but by providing like this sort of space, we can be like a platform for celebrating. I mean, have you heard of Nellie Cressel? No. So Nellie Cressel, anyone in the room heard of Nellie Cressel? Well, do we need new political heroes?
Yes, please.
Yeah? And or Nellie, she was one of 30 popular councillors in 1921 who went to prison. And she went to prison in protest against an unjust system. Remarkably, Nellie was 6 months pregnant. Big national outcry, the Home Secretary went to release her. She refused to go unless all the other councillors were freed as well. And in the end they reached a compromise where they evicted her from Holloway prison. And that sort of inspiration is there. It's under our noses in London, but do we know about it? Do we celebrate it? So we're working with the East London Music Group and they're doing an opera. Nellie Cressel, the opera. Wow. And, so as I say, I like to make a song and dance about it, but rightly so, yeah? And,
we love a song and dance here, don't we?
We do. All right, so let's just see this clip. We want a clip from the BBC archive, actually, about the Cockney accent.
Oh, wow.
And I can remember a case, I was miles up in the desert, getting on the other side of the brook somewhere. And there was I'd been out there 4 years then, and there was a young lad, and I heard him speaking, so I said, where do you come from? So he said, London. I said, I know you do. I said, but whereabouts in London? He said, Bethnal Green. I said, I knew that.
I mean, Bethnal Green was with the F. I mean, you take it which way, either one F or two Fs. You take it which way you like, you know what I mean? And that's how it was years ago.
Today, they're much more modern than I am. They say Bethnal Green.
I've got grandchildren today, I'm afraid to talk to them because they're so posh here. Hello, grandfather, how are you? So I say, well, hello, pal, how are you getting on, girl, all right? And this is it today, isn't it, really?
Oh, I love that.
So that's great. The danger we've got to avoid is like seeing it as something of the past, something nostalgic, where something's alive now, like the values of resilience, defiance, resourcefulness, irreverent, stoic wit. There's stuff that can help anyone overcome adversity, bring people together and stand up together for all like the crap that's going around the place. Yeah. So these are positive values, but unless we invest in them, celebrate and provide a space for them, the danger is they get marginalised. And so that's what we're doing about it now. I mean, my granddaughter comes out of cinema, she goes, why do all the baddies sound like you, Grandad?
It's true.
And look at every single bloody one. Every single one.
They are the best roles.
Yeah, no, but Dick Van Dyke, right? Worst Cockney accent, university degree. Everyone agreed Dick Van Dyke crap for Cockney. But at least his character, Bert, was a good guy.
He's a good guy.
When was the last time you see a good Cockney? And so it's been stigmatised, and we're doing something about it. So we want to do like a modern Cockney Kids Festival. We want to encourage like new books and stuff, and even like the old musical songs, make them into like children's like nursery rhymes and stuff. Because there's a wealth, there's a colour in like the rhyming slang, the language, the attitude as well. And as I say, by providing this space, we can make the world a richer, more colourful place. And one that actually, the Nellies of the world, Nellie Cressel of the world, they need to be celebrated, revered and respected, and a counterbalance to, a mainstream culture that chooses to ignore them.
Oh man, I love that. Should the Cockney Festival, because at the moment, is it more like it comes into sort of certain venues and things like that, but could it take over like the Roman Road or get bigger, or are there any plans?
Absolutely.
Because I think that would be amazing in East London to have like a whole place.
Well, this is just the beginning, so we're looking at year round. So we create things like we created a museum of modern Cockney, which is a pocket museum of like a pack of cards. So any card, and every card tells a story. We have like posters, And we're doing it year round. We want to do a story like the Bengali Cockneys here, 50 objects, 50 like the black Cockneys, Jewish Cockneys and stuff. So it really brings alive about the family of wealth. And again, one of the, you'd never see this written down, but there's a perception that Cockney, some area calls exclusively white, working class, with racist tendencies. And we like the definition done by Arthur Smith, the broadcaster and comedian, which is the non-posh Londoner.
Yeah.
So if you've got an affinity with a non-posh Londoner, welcome to the Cockney Club. And there's 4 types: old school, possibly new school, my friend Saif, the Cockney diaspora, which is like, Saif coined the term Cockneydom, which is just spread of pie mash shops. And there's more pie mash shops now out of London than in London. And then you've got ancestral Cockney, so I've spoken to 1 or 2 posh people in there, but I bet dig deeper, generation or 2, and you know there's a passion of a Cockney.
My
inside
grandma's
there.
a Cockney.
Yeah. So whatever is embraced, but let's also get around the country. Let's get the Scousers, the Geordies, and the Brummies and the Ouija's, you know, celebrating their immense stories. And as I say, it's an immense. It's like having a lot of you know, crown jewels in a locker, but you're not getting it out. It's fantastic.
It's such a good idea. It's such a good idea.
So can you say something about what you think makes, because we always ask people, what does it take to be a good neighbour? Or what do you think is a good neighbour? What's good and neighbourly in Cockney culture?
Good and neighbourly is, you know, obviously there's the old cliche, look after one another and stuff, but, you know, when times are hard and stuff, you're not alone. And dare I borrow a song from Liverpool, you never walk alone.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
And also the other thing about sharing optimism. So, you know, I'm sadly a West Ham fan, so, you know, look at these football songs. I'm forever blowing bubbles. You know, it's just about sharing that spirit of positivity that whatever crap comes your way, there's another bubble that may disappear, whatever, but at least we're there, like, you know, responding in a positive way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've got Saif on the couch joining us. Come over.
Thank you.
Saif, you do the festival in conjunction with our lovely Andy, and you're from the Bengali East End Heritage Society.
That's right, yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're 10 years in, and the Bengali East End Heritage Society started because we were looking around the East End going, well, hang on a minute, there's something quite unique about this place of London, and our identity being Bengali East End and specific to a particular area, and which defines us quite differently, even internationally. So if you go to somewhere like Bangladesh, for example, they'll call you a Londonese. So that,
Londonese?
Yeah,
a Londonese?
Londonese, yeah.
Who calls you that?
That just people there, you know. If you're from London, they'll call you a Londonese. So I thought, hang on a minute, we should really work on that. With all the changes happening in the East End, and with all the new buildings, new areas, changing, new flux of people and stuff, we're thinking, well, how do we start to have a say in it? And one of it was like agency building, really, saying, well, actually, where's the community's agency? So there was the Jewish East End Celebration Society, there was East End Preservation Society, so why not add another society to it?
Yeah, we love a society. Amazing.
And why, I mean, setting up a society, there's a bunch of people here who know that I really like setting things up. But if you're setting up a society and it's like going to be part of the festival, was it sort of intentionally so that you could do stuff to participate in the festival, to make it like a presence that says this is Cockney?
Yeah, well, it helped because, I mean, you know exactly, it's not like the Bengali Boston Society, you know, it's the East End and it's the East End of London. So I think it helped to kind of define that and collectivise it in a very local setting. But I think the Cockney conversations happened first, actually, prior to the Modern Cockney Festival, where online, after lockdown eased, the COVID-19 lockdown, once it eased, people were just starting to leave their homes. They were starting to get a bit brave, and they thought, well, hang on a minute, we might as well hold some of our events in person rather than just online. And luckily, it kicked off like this year. We've got 2 exhibitions running, Toynbee Hall, Rich Mix. We've had talks with Michael Rosen, Caroline Lucas and stuff in person and online, so it's been good, you know, it's really kind of going up a notch. Yeah.
So love that. On one of the Modern Cockney campaigns is around objects, helping to tell the story of our histories. What would be yours from an East End Bengali perspective?
Well, I'm going Chinese on this, my old China. I'm actually wearing my object here,
I love your outfit.
Which is actually a Chinese jacket. Because the original Chinatown, believe it or not, was in Limehouse in the East End of London, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
See, not a lot of people knew that. See?
What?
Yeah, it was originally in Limehouse in Chinatown.
What, like the first one in the world?
First one in the East
the-
End, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The Bangla is Brick Lane, but that's a different story.
Yeah. I love that. And what else, like how else does that work in terms of these objects?
Well, we think that, I mean, I've been working on a few object-based ones. You know, you've got archives and all sorts of archives opening, new museums moving into the East End, the V&A's moved into the East End. You know, it's really changing culturally, but we want to put, you know, Cockney and the working class objects right into the forefront as well. And actually, these objects matter because they're not just stale, dry things that sit on a shelf. They're things that have memory. They're things people engage with and encounter. So I think objects talk, but I'm an artist, so I often think that.
What other kind of objects, like, what do we expect to see?
Well, we've got, for example, the street signs in Brick Lane, which are in English and Bengali, and I don't think anywhere else in the country that's the case.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, there might be, but I've not seen it yet. But but it makes it very unique. So, and it tells a larger story of community migration and internationalism as well. I mean, the East End's always been a really diverse place.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine that I work with, Lee, who's always saying that we need to like have a vision for the new 21st century vision of what like a multicultural British democracy can look like.
Yeah, well, you know, let's hope representation shifts quite a bit, away from the conservative representation, in my view, but that's just personally.
How did you guys meet, you and Andy?
Well, online, because Andy was doing he was doing the Cockney Conversations month. Well, originally he did a conversation, it was discussed earlier, which was, is Cockney dying on the streets? And I thought, well, that's actually a really relevant talk. Why is no one talking about this? So we carried on talking, and the year later we did the Cockney Conversations month. We had about 15 talks online, and fast forward now, we've got a festival, full-scale festival, loads of things happening. So join us online, join us every March.
What should people look for?
moderncockneyfestival.org.uk.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Cockney? Other than Andy, because who's
Andy
now
is
mine,
my favourite
frankly. Love you, Andy.
At the moment, my favourite. Actually, I quite like going to the local street markets, meeting the barrel boys and watching them talk and speak out what they're selling, often being a bit smutty and a bit rude, which I think is good. Just got to do it.
You're smart, never hurt anyone. Thank you so much, Saif Osmani.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things they've got people doing during the Modern Cockney Festival is incredible origami, or what they call Cocknegami, making tiny pearly queen and king jackets, which is a great way to introduce our next guest. So take a look.
Welcome the Pearly Princess of Fulham. London royalty here.
Now, did you know that our Charlie is a Fulham fan?
Really?
Who wrote these questions? What does that mean? Because you're from Fulham. Okay, I get it now. Okay. Can you
Pick up Fulham.
Oh, no, he's right there. And he really
not
is.
far from Fulham. There is a lot of Cockneys around Fulham. And also Shepherd's Bush. And even Portobello Road. I mean, they're really Portobello Road. Okay, can you tell us a bit about the Pearly outfits and why they're important?
Well, we make them all ourselves. So you start completely blank, and then the mother of pearl buttons have been like the sign of Pearlies. And it all started when Henry Croft, our founder, would be in the workplaces and in the markets, and he saw the costermongers with the mother of pearl buttons, because that would be that signify that they were working. And he really liked it, so he started sewing them on his, started performing, raising money for the charities and the workhouse where he used to live. So that's sort of what we've started to do, and we wear them, and then that's sort of our big looker. Everyone sees what we're wearing, so they see the outfits, that's what gets people attention, and then they realise what we do.
Oh, that's really good. Is
So
that
nice.
what's the tradition like? Where does the tradition come from?
From Henry Croft.
It does.
Yeah.
That's from what time?
He was born in 1860s,
Wow,
so
okay.
quite a long while ago.
Quite back. Okay.
And we also were in touch with your mum. So being a Pearly princess is literally like a bloodline handing down. Do you get like forced into it? Or
Sometimes.
like real royalty?
Sometimes. No, there's 5 of us. There's 5 of my siblings, including me. But me and my sister are the only ones that like doing it. So we don't have to do it, but we really enjoy it.
Right.
It's so cool. Like,
Well, I'm quite pleased you got a short skirt on because I feel like it's a bit
yeah, I
modern.
would not be seen in a long skirt.
I always thought that there was like a real royalist association because like you see them like standing outside the palace and stuff, older Pearly kings and queens. Is that like a given or is that like an optional thing that you have to be mad into the royal family? Are you?
They do recognise, like the royal family do recognise us as street royalty.
Really?
Do they?
Yeah, I can get
How do
princess
they?
on my
What do
passport.
they do?
Oh
You can
my
get what?
God!
Princess on my passport.
You're joking. What?
I love it.
What, and like on your letters as well? Does it come like princess?
Yeah, if I sign up.
Oh
for
my
princess.
God, that's so good.
That's so surprising.
It gets you lots of free drinks at the pub. It's great.
That's amazing.
Wow. Respect. I didn't know that.
And how else do you get into it? Do you have to marry into it?
So it's either
or-
you marry into it, it's handed down, or you can apply to be a Pearly, and you have to go through you have to be a consort, and then you have to actually show that you want to be dedicated and give to charity.
Have you got to do an initiation?
Sort of. You have to, they put you in the middle of the stage singing the songs, and then it's just up to you with the mic.
Can you give us a line of one of the songs?
Oh, that's not my forte.
I
stand at the back, at the back of the stage, just like this.
What sort of songs are they? Songs that we know?
They're all like Cockney songs.
Knees up, mother.
Yeah, we do that one quite often.
We know that one.
Cousin.
We know that one. All right, Alex, do you know what you've written?
Yeah, I think you should play it now.
Were you done?
Amazing.
It's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maudy. Now we're going to bring back Ssega to talk about Live and Breathe campaign for clean air in Lewisham and London. Hello, Ssega.
Hello.
Tell us all about it. What is it?
Well, it's also in Southwark and Lambeth. My funders would like you to know that.
Are you sponsored?
No. There's, well, actually, it's a black-led arts movement, which is now an organisation.
Okay.
And basically, I did a song about clean air, and then everyone's like, "Yay!" Went to COP26, and then Guy's and St Thomas's Trust, the big hospital here in London, they said, "Can you do that in Southwark and Lambeth?" And I said, "Only if you give me a lot more money," which they did. And the idea was to find different groups and organisations, the black-led organisations, to show through whether it's roller skating, whether it's football, whether it's through poetry. This is why we need clean air.
Amazing.
Nice. And it's the focus of the campaign. Presumably, a lot of people may or may not understand the difference in terms of health impacts, environmental racism, the effects that, the story of Ella Deborah, the adverse effects that most communities of colour are more exposed, right, to deadly air quality across London.
Yeah, exactly. So the story of Ella Deborah, she was a 9-year-old schoolgirl who went to primary school off the South Circular, which is an orbital road in London. And I went to primary school off the South Circular, and she died because of air pollution. And her mum, Rosamond, has been campaigning now she's been campaigning for a decade, and she got air pollution on her death certificate. So she's the first person to officially be recognised. And she also got an apology from the government as a result, which is absolutely fantastic. And Rosamond's just absolutely incredible. And she's campaigning now because she says she doesn't want anyone else to go through that as well. And so where Live and Breathe comes in is, in a way, it disproportionately affects people of colour in Southwark and Lambeth, and also marginalised people. And if you think about it, if you know London, the quickest way for me to get from Lewisham to go to Brixton is through Dulwich Village. The South Circular does not go through Dulwich Village. So these are the sort of things where you start to see it's structural, all of these other things. And on the positive side is to show, okay, we don't talk about air pollution, we're talking about clean air because we want to live and to breathe. So it's like we want the clean air so we can live our best lives and have fun, and this is what we will be doing. We're not statistics, we're people, and as black people, we do all this amazing stuff.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I found interesting about it was also hearing about young people basically understanding this as an environmental problem, campaigning to get the pollution reduced, but also on that journey, realising that an awful lot of that pollution on the South Circular, for example, is just taking stuff to a different place where it's going to provide economic benefit to somebody probably in the centre of London or in another part of London. So in a way, doesn't it also encourage some of these young people to become a bit anti-capitalist?
Oh, that's my middle name. The thing is, you don't even need to convince young people about this. And I think even with all of this stuff, there's a massive generational divide, just because when ULEZ, which is the ultra low emission zone, came in, and some of these other things were brought in by Sadiq Khan, who got asthma whilst training for the London Marathon, and that's why he really supports this, which is I didn't realise. When people say, oh, it's a war on the motorists, young people can't afford to drive. It's the insurance of $3,000 a year that's killing them. It's not Sadiq Khan and ULEZ and all these other things. I didn't realise along this way where these e-bikes, Lime, there are other manufacturers, and Forest and stuff, when they came along, that massively helped young people because they had freedom to go from A to B. I thought these little scooters would be the ones that took off, but it's the Lime bikes which have massively, and other electric e-bikes, which have massively taken off because they don't need to wait. If it was in Car City, you have to wait until you're 17 to get your provisional, but on these other things you can get them, and if you're 15 or 16, you can do that. So there's so many exciting things where they're not seeing, even in terms of jobs, capitalism isn't really working for them, when they're seeing their parks being taken over. Brockwell Park is a big park here, and then you see Lambeth Country Show where we've done something there. It gets shut down because a private company is just walling off the park for so long. So they're making these connections. They're seeing it's not working for them. So the answer is not just to say, be quiet, strive more. It's actually say, okay, what world do you want to live in, and what world do you want to build?
I think we've got a little video of the work.
We do, yeah.
So let's have a look.
I want to breathe like you. These streets are mine too. For far too long, the marginalised have had to pay the price of nepotism, classism and racism with their lives. We want to play ball, ride bikes, kick, flip and picnic without it leading towards the deterioration of our health. We have pride in our ends, pride in ourselves. But what's pride when your body is seen as collateral damage? What's pride when babies and children and elderly people cannot manage because their right to clean air has been taken? And don't be mistaken, when you leave your home to clear your mind because the air isn't fresh outside, go out there and the gases you inhale have death inside. I want to breathe like you. These streets are mine too. Often we think about the problems we can see, but what about the ones that we can't? The air we breathe, poisoned and polluted with CO2 from cars on busy roads, and tons more from burning waste way too close to homes. Don't I have a right to clean air, or am I only an heir to polluted roads by residential homes? I want to breathe like you. These streets are mine too. Rich businessmen not paying fines for breaking environmental laws, but it's the black and the poor that have to pay with their lives. When clean air is a luxury, death is the price for those who can't afford it. I want to breathe. I want to breathe. I want to breathe just like you. These streets are mine too.
Are you on Instagram? You've got a website?
Yes. Follow at We Live and Breathe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ssega. Okay, regular viewers will know we have a very special slot in the programme that last month actually predicted the victory for the Greens in Gorton and Denton. Legitimate psychic, okay? That's what we deal with here, okay? Sort of. Not that I believe in all that shit. Okay.
So let's see, what does the great Gandalfo have in store for us this month?
The question we ask of the cosmos on this Good Neighbours special is one currently vexing many inhabitants of the London borough of Instagram. Namely, has London fallen? So what brings London to this strange juncture? Our first card, the Queen of Pentacles, is the nurturing mother of the material world. Like this ancient city, she welcomes a large family, providing both love and financial support. This is a card that recognises London's historical place in the global scheme of things, and why so many people from around the world call her home. But now, a card for the present, the Seven of Cups, a card that speaks to the power of illusion. Has London really fallen? One might think so, if prone to getting one's news from TikTok. But this card says that not everything is grounded in reality. It reminds us that some people may be attempting to mangle our minds. So as we look to the future, what advice does the tarot hold? Our final card to guide us into the future is the Ten of Wands, reversed. A most interesting card. The Ten of Wands reversed implores us to not carry the burden on our own. Moreover, that we might be suffering in silence. This card calls us to come together, that we are stronger in solidarity. So whether the burden is struggling to make ends meet, or the illusory claims that London has fallen, the tarot calls on us all to be good neighbours.
We have got somebody I know very well and who I'm very excited is here today. It is the wonderful Londoner, Gemma Rogers!
Thank you for having me.
Gemma, you've got a bit of a Cockney inflection, but you are in fact from the leafy suburb of
Hanwell.
What happened?
My daughter is 3.5 and my dad, who is incredibly well spoken, called her, my daughter called me. I put the phone onto my daughter and he went, "Is that a Cockney accent I do detect?" And I went, "Maybe." And the point is, yeah, I mean, I think, you know.
You live in Walthamstow now.
I do, so I've jumped into the East London thing. I think it depends, doesn't it? Like the accent thing is dependent on who.
Well, when you're from London, it does change.
I think
I've been out with some quite middle class guys, but you get in a taxi with them.
Everything changes.
What's happening? Cultural appropriation, Andy. It's cultural appropriation.
Do you? Andy, I'm with you. We're all part of the... Yeah.
Gemma, we like to ask everybody here on Good Neighbours, what do you think makes a good neighbour? And are you a good neighbour?
I think I am.
You're good.
I think not being an arse, being a good person, trying your hardest to just check in with people, making sure that you do your bit by checking on those who are around you. It doesn't mean the person next door, it means the people that that you have had some sort of connection with, that you feel like you want to sort of maintain a relationship with. I don't actually think it sort of stops at the end of your street. I was lucky enough to grow up in an area in Hanwell, W7. Yes, it's still London, no matter what Flynn says over there. But I think, you know, I was lucky. I grew up in a street where everybody knew each other's names, and we knew who to go to for, I was going to say sugar, but that's not what I'd go to number 26 for.
Like, we need to start borrowing food. We're saying that, yeah.
No, but also it's not just
we might
food.
need to now.
It's actually, I mean, there is that, but it's also about just making sure that you can check it. You know that Eileen at the end of the road was like, you know, she was on her own. And she didn't have family, and she was, you know, in her late 80s, and nobody would check in on her. And we did, our street did, and we all clubbed together, and we'd have parties actually to sort of bring her into some sort of community. And I feel like that amazing experience I had growing up, I have tried my hardest to kind of replicate for my own daughter, and also with the work that I do, and also the sort of songs that I write. You know, I'm not necessarily outspoken about the things I believe in, but the songs and the art and the work that I do is all about sort of bringing that back. So it's a full circle of kind of kindness, really.
And you do a lot with like applied theatre, don't you? Like working with ex-prisoners.
Yeah,
and
send young people, all sorts of stuff. I do, and again, it's because I was lucky enough to be brought up in a space that sort of celebrated what the arts can do, and I'm lucky, I'm so privileged with that, and so all I want to do is really sort of put that back out into the world. The music, what I love doing, and perform, you know, I create my own art so that I can go out and scratch the performative itch, you know, sort of go and be part of that world. But actually the work that I do in my day-to-day life is the stuff that
really means
that makes sense. Like, that's the stuff I really don't think I could live without, because I think it sort of just shows that actually we all just need to sort of, you know, be there for each other and do what we can to kind of make it fucking all right. Life's really hard. Thank you so much. I know you hope